morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to an extra interview of Final Cut. Today, I'm joined by a lady who I'm pretty sure if I cloned her could make an entire movie on her own. Ladies and gentlemen, Rebecca Lamarche.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, and love the challenge. Might find a way to fulfill it one day.
Thank you very much. Before we begin, could you actually do a movie on your own if I cloned you? Because you are actually an actress, a producer, a casting director, amongst other things. So technically, you could make a movie on your own if you wanted to.
You know what? There are so many integral and so many parts to filmmaking. It would be a very tall order, and it would not be nearly as good as it is working with the teams that I have. So hopefully we won't find out.
Hopefully not. Are you one of these filmmakers who would happily do just one job or do multiples? So I'll just give you an example. There's the amount of actors who direct, produce, and star in their own projects. It's kind of like, is that something you wanted to do?
Well, I love that you ask that. That's actually my goal within the next few years, is to start combining my skills. I was very careful earlier to keep everything separate, whether it be the filmmaking side, so producing and casting, or the acting side, because to do anything excellently, you need to put a lot of time and care into your craft. And as I've been really honing each, I really want to start combining it now. So that's the long-term goal.
Learn the trade as you go. Always best. As an actress, who are your influences growing up?
Growing up, I would say Julia Roberts, Jennifer Ale. I was a big BBC Jane Austen fan growing up. So anything that they were putting out, I would find a way to get it at my libraries here in Canada and watch them. And whom else? I think those were the big ones growing up.
Bless you. As far as your career goes, what have been the highlights?
Highlights, I think, are anytime you're with a group of really great people who are collaborative and just kind of let you explore the stories or bounce off each other. Some highlights where I was in Lyon filming a movie right before the pandemic, or a year before the pandemic. A couple days before the pandemic shut everything, I got to work on a movie with a very dear friend called Anything for Jackson, where I was in complete full body prosthetics playing Vamp, who was essentially the devil. And then another highlight, I think, was The Truth About the Harry K. Bear Affair, where I got to work with Wayne Knight, but the series also had Patrick Dempsey and Virginia Madsen.
Dr. McDreamy, as I seem to remember when he was on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, that's exactly how I thought about him, but tragically did not get to work directly with him.
I bet you were mortified, wouldn't you? Like, I get to work with Dr. Dreamy. Oh, he's not.
Oh my gosh, mortified? No, I would have been like camping out at set, ready to go, like on a moment's notice. But working with Wayne Knight was really cool too. I know he's done so many amazing projects, but a movie I always loved was Jurassic Park. And so I just kept thinking about that when we were working together.
Yeah, he's a lot better he was a lot better in that than he was in Space Jam.
Yeah, well, you give, you take.
You definitely. You've got your new movie, Sappy Holiday, coming out. Well, it premieres in Canada. It's the 7th today, so it premieres in 2 days.
Yes.
It soon comes around, doesn't it? And on UPTV a week later. So how does it feel to be 2 days from it being out?
It's always really exciting. These movies are so much fun to make. It's uplifting, happy, cozy content. So as you can imagine, the energy and the vibe on set is really mimics that. This one in particular was with a group of filmmakers that I really love and have worked with multiple times before. So it was a ton of fun on set, and then just getting to bring that out and share it with family, friends, fans. It's just, it's always fun and exciting.
So for those who don't know of Sappy Holiday, what is it all about, and who do you play in the actual movie?
Yeah, so Sappy Holiday follows the lead character is Joy. She's played by Vanessa Sears. And she is a very passionate sous chef who finds out that her very corporate, austere boyfriend is going to propose to her on Christmas Eve, and she starts to get cold feet. So on her way to spend Christmas with him and his family and this like upcoming proposal, her car breaks down in a snowstorm and she is rescued then by none other than a maple syrup farmer who whisks her away to the family estate, where my character comes in. I'm his sister-in-law, and she becomes really close with the entire family. Her and I really hit it off. And as she learns more about us, we learn more about her. She realizes that collectively we all have the skills to save this maple syrup farm that, of course, is going out of business. This is their last Christmas, as these movies go. And, and like we all fall in love together. We save the farm, potentially not. You'll have to tune in. She may or may not find a new romantic love interest. It's really fun. It's a really sweet movie.
Now, was this actually filmed for Christmas before, or was this filmed earlier in the year?
Well, clever you. These films often film in the summer, but this was actually filmed this year in February. And
wow.
Yeah, it was about February, like 25th, 26th-ish, around that window was when we were filming. So we lucked out. I mean, it was just tons of snow everywhere, really cold. So the wardrobe was cozy and comfy for once. I'm so used to uncomfortable wardrobe or off-seasonal wardrobe. So it was so nice to wear these like cozy jumpers and and really nice like loose clothing in the dead of winter. And we were filming in this gorgeous mansion of an estate on this beautiful acreage of a property. The farm falling apart is this beautiful mansion again, as these movies go. So it was so much fun.
Was it actually weird doing a Christmas movie while winter was still going on?
No, it was so much better because you just felt like it was Christmas. You're looking out, it's what you're used to, or what I'm used to seeing over Christmas. And if anything, it made it feel more real than they usually do.
Yeah. Who was the most Christmassy person on set?
Ooh. I'm going to say Elise Crocker, who is actually one of the PAs and a lovely actress herself.
I will say one thing. I went to Ireland last month. I think I actually came back on the 24th of November, and about the 22nd, every street in Dublin was literally full of Christmas decorations. It's like we in England were like, oh yeah, we'll get them out December time. The Irish must have had them out since about middle of November. So I literally was like, oh, I'm leaving Ireland. I'm feeling all Christmassy already. I come back and we've literally got our Christmas decorations up about a week later. And I must admit, I kind of have enjoyed having Christmas decorations up a little bit earlier than I'm used to. Don't have a producer manager. We do it every single November.
I love that. Yeah, hop on the train. Just get them up as soon as it gets dark and cold. Toss them up. It'll just make the place nicer to be around too.
Did the cast give presents to anyone at some point in the interest of being on a Christmas movie?
No, I mean, for as much fun as it is, it's still very much a job. You have tight days and everyone enjoys being there with each other, but it's still another job.
Officially, you are a producer, but on the movie you weren't actually listed as a producer, but did you offer any advice on the producer front while on set?
No, I would never, unless I was asked. I would never come on someone else's set and give unsolicited advice. I have so much respect for the people who are making the movie, and I've actually learned so much from them as a filmmaker. So not this time, and probably not ever, not unless I was asked.
I only consider something a proper Christmas movie or TV show, whatever it is, if Michael Bublé is singing Christmas songs in the background at some point. So do we hear Michael Bublé sing at some point?
Yes, I guess we'll have to say he's singing if that's the only way to get you to tune in. No, he doesn't sing, but he is Canadian, so it's definitely something that I've looked at before, but he's kind of hard to get. I actually almost worked with his wife once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so his wife is actually, they spend half the year in Canada and half the year, I believe it's Argentina, where she herself is a big movie star.
Yeah.
And I tried getting her on a project I was producing once, and she was going to, and at the end of the day, it just conflicted with her schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not far off, and I'll call you if we get the Bublé's.
Oh, please, please make sure if you do eventually do get Mrs. Bublé, please make sure Mr. Bublé's in there as well.
Yes, we'll have to.
At Christmas time, always works a treat. Michael Bublé plus Christmas equals success.
Yes, and just a good time.
Yeah. So, give us a example of what we can expect from the movie when it comes out in 2 days.
I think you can expect to like feel really like it's an escapism art form. I think you can feel really cozy. You're going to feel the magic of the Christmas spirit, and not just in the commercial sense, but really in family coming together and following your dreams and your passion and your heart. And I think that it comes together really nicely. It's beautiful scenery. Like I was saying, we filmed it in the heart of winter. So a lot of the time people are spraying foam to get a little dusting of snow. But here, you're seeing people's breath, you're seeing feet of snow, beautiful architecture, beautiful cast, beautiful story. It's a sweet little film.
Now, without venturing too much into spoiler territory here, can we expect a sequel?
Ooh, I don't think there's any plans for a sequel. However, I recently heard that a movie I was in a couple years ago, which we never thought there'd be a sequel for, is probably getting one. So never say never. If enough people tune in, there just might be.
Yep, definitely. You've been a producer, casting director, and an actress. How hard is it combining the three like you did for Christmas in Maple Hills?
Oh gosh. It's hard. It's really hard time management wise, but I work with such a great team that it's possible, and it's fun, and it's a supportive group and a supportive environment. So it's really fun, but that's part of the reason for Maple Hills. It's a smaller part, but it's a really fun part. It's a girl who works in a naval ship factory supporting the war effort in the 1940s. So definitely look forward to that coming out next year.
Yep. You've produced more than 20 Christmas movies, if IMDb is to be believed. How have you now written a book on how to do a Christmas movie?
Oh, well, maybe we should do a poll after this podcast and see if people would buy it.
I think we should do a poll of everybody in America and Canada to see if they'd buy it.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Who knows? Maybe that'll be something in the works in the years to come. I have thought of doing something on the casting side, because I've also cast about as many.
Yeah.
And I've really just seen kind of like what makes people pop in their auditions and what makes people really work in the genre. So maybe there's something to this. Maybe there's book 1, book 2. I don't know.
Sam Raimi has his golden rules of horror, which is basically everyone must suffer. What would you say? What would you say are the golden rules that must be followed in order for a Christmas movie to be great?
To be great, I think you have to focus on the heart of Christmas and not the commercialization of it. In fact, I think a lot of these movies, that's the through line. Everyone gets caught up in the commercialization of things and the material aspects of the world. And why people love this is it really draws down on what matters most. And that is family connections, love connections, being true to yourself. And the simplicity of life can be really beautiful. And that's kind of turned into a trope of this genre, but I think it's a trope for a reason. I think people yearn for it, especially over the holidays.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that the film must end on Christmas Day. Snow must be falling. Everyone must be happy. Opening presents. Although in Home Alone's case, that ended more on an argument to the question of scene.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actually producing and just finished casting an action Christmas movie right now. That's part of these wonky hours because I'm doing set hours right now, but that one completely throws on its head anything anything that I just described, and that'll be out next year.
Ooh, look forward to watching it eventually. As far as research goes, we had Daniel Nelson on here when Mortal Kombat came out. I'm not going to lie, the amount of research him and the cast had to do was extensive. Literally, no stone was unturned. Have you ever had to do research like that extreme?
Another banger of a question. No is the honest answer. The honest answer is no. The roles that I've done thus far don't really require that kind of meticulous research. It's actually been more interpretation of the script, and then how can you infuse and elevate it is kind of how I've approached a lot of the work I've done. That being said, I can very much see in the next year or two some potential projects where a great deal of research will really be required. So hopefully those pan out and we can do a follow-up to this.
Yeah. Is it a case of when you do research, you want it done, you'd rather have it done quickly, or you don't mind the long game, which is take your time, research just about every single thing about it you can?
I think it depends the context. So research in general or in development, I think take the time, do it right. The more you infuse into it, the more truth you have, the more you have to mine from. But when it comes to the acting side, of course, if you have the luxury of time, that's amazing. But I think a lot of people spin their wheels, and you want to see if the research and essentially the homework you're doing, is it fruitful? How does it translate?
Yeah.
How does it serve you? I think some people do it more for confidence than for the actual craft. For me, I kind of like to spend my time in different ways in developing characters. But again, I haven't had a character that, required a ton of research or was a complete stretch for me yet.
There's still time.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people move into animation or video games, whether they already were an actor or if they're trying to break in. Former guests include Lee Rexu, who's done Assassin's Creed games, Alex Fulton Regan, who was the envy of just about every single woman on the planet when she played Keanu Reeves' girlfriend in Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah. I can just imagine the envies coming from. It's like, so Keanu Reeves has got a girlfriend in this game. Who's playing it? Oh, Alex Fulton Regan. And not to mention the fact that we had Martin Coppin, who has voiced Mozzie in Rainbow Six Siege, technically he still does, and Lucas Riggs in last year's Call of Duty. Is that a path you'd consider going down at some point?
First of all, totally. Secondly, I've actually done some voicing. My brother-in-law, he makes video games independently, and so I've had the pleasure and fun of collaborating with him in the past, and hopefully in the future. I know he has some games in development, so that'd be very fun, and love any chance to work with him. And then in terms of more big blockbuster commercial games, I would love to. I haven't had the chance to yet, but I'd also really love to not just voice them, but do mocap, like the motion capture for it. I think I can be a really physical person and a really physical performer. So I think that would be a lot of fun too.
Definitely would be. Have you got anything coming up that you'd like to talk about that we haven't already discussed, or anything you personally would like to promote while you're here?
Oh, so sweet. I do have another movie coming out, I believe in the spring. I don't have the release details yet, but it's called All Aboard for Love. I'm the supporting lead in that film, and it's a beautiful, dreamy, marina-based romance. But I don't have the juicy release details yet, so I can't drop too much into it.
Yeah, you're not allowed to divulge such information yet, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now, what about social media? I do have Instagram ready.
Yes, Instagram is at Rebecca Lamarche, RebeccaLamarche, and I love connecting with people there.
Hold on, no, spelled it wrong. So there we go. Let's have a look. Actor Rebecca Lamarche, actor, producer, and casting director, lead with kindness. Finding my voice in each new character, curating talent for the stories as well, and based in a certain state where one of my co-hosts actually lives.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember where it is he lives. Oh, he's going to kill me. Do you know? He's told me so many times where he lives, but I cannot remember for the life of me where he says.
And he's in Ontario, like the
He lives
province.
in Ontario, yes.
Give me a hint. Maybe I can spark your memory.
Hold on a minute. I'll tell you what, we'll go and do the quiz and then I'll ask him. I'll just ask him quickly. Which part? Maybe it's which part of. I'm waiting for the ridicule when he comes back because I should know this, and he will absolutely crucify me. Right, let's see if he answers. So while he answers, I unfortunately must do the sort of thing I enjoy, but I think as time has gone on, I can't like, no, I can't, I don't want to ask these questions, but I must.
Oh, God.
It is now time for the final quiz of 2022. One of the last ones, I may point out, because there's only 3 weeks left in this year.
So I guess we better make it good.
Yeah, I've tried. All right, then if you decide to have kids, and this is actually quite common because you always see a lot of this, like, would we let our kids watch this? Would we let them watch that? So question is, so if you have kids, what would be the first thing, or what would be the first thing you would show them with you in it when they ask, what can we see something with you in it, Mummy? What would be the first one of your, I'll say your library that you would show them?
Ooh, the first one I'd probably show them would probably be Fit for a Prince, because in that in that movie, my character Brooke Hamilton, she's pretty much an American princess in it, and she pretty much lives in a castle and she's hosting royalty. And I think that's just a very fun, a big visual impact. And then out of the ones I've made on the filmmaking side, it would be Witch's Ball, which was one of the first movies I made. And it's super cute, and it's a children's movie.
You started in a lot, more than likely you've had training for some of those, but what would be the one thing that you still use in everyday life? It's like, I'll just give you an instance. It's like if you played a chef in a movie or a TV series, and you actually cooked more after you actually portrayed a chef.
Ooh, oh gosh, let's see. See, the issue with this question, is I play a lot of villains. And so, and typically their villainous superpower is the threat in another woman's relationship. So I definitely don't bring that to my everyday life. So I'm not sure. I think we're gonna have to pass on that one. I mean,
we'll have to come back to that.
These ladies are awful. The girl in this coming movie is great, but a lot of the ladies I play cause a lot of trouble.
Is that what we have to call you now? Trouble. We have to call you Trouble. We have to go Rebecca Trouble Lamarche.
Oh gosh, it wouldn't be the first.
So IMDb is very, I'll say they print a lot of trivia. Not all of it is true. So what I have done is I have found some IMDb trivia on you, and I just need you to confirm whether IMDb needs to readjust itself or if they're actually telling the truth for a change. Okay. So, yeah. I'll tell you what actually did spawn this. I think IMDb said something, I can't remember what it was about Andrew Garfield in his Spider-Man outfit, and he said, no, I didn't do that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's where this whole thing came from. So,
oh God.
It's all right. It's actually not too bad, actually. IMDb claimed you're bilingual in French and English.
Yes, I was born in Montreal. I grew up across Canada. My first written my first written language is French, but my first spoken language is English.
Mm-hmm. You were scouted by Sutherland Models, but turned down the opportunity to finish university.
Yep, that's true. And then when I came back, when I did finish university, I followed up with them, and they said they would sign me if I lost an inch on either end of my hips. And I will say I'm a pretty slender girl. So I, again, did not, never signed with them, but what a crazy industry.
You're an internationally published writer.
Yes. My background's in journalism.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Any tips you can give me for podcasting?
I never hosted a podcast. I guess be yourself and have fun questions, which you've done.
Yep. One thing I do always say: don't make anything personal unless the guest is okay with it.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it's just always have people going too far. It's like they're prodding into areas where they shouldn't. I take Robert Downey Jr. on Avengers: Age of Ultron press tour when a certain Englishman who won't be named, but suffice to say I've never liked him. He decided to quiz Downey about his father, and it's like, what has that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with what he's doing? It's got nothing to do with it. Why are you asking?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, sorry, not question. I think that's a great philosophy.
You've attended multiple seasons of New York's Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, including shows by designers, forgive me if I butcher the names, Christian Serrano, Rebecca Minkoff, Alon Lievner, and Betsy Johnson.
Yes, all true. I have not been to a New York fashion show in many years now, but I really want to start going back. They're so much fun. So I'll have to see if I can get some invites again.
I'm sure you will. You've lived in 5 of Canada's major cities. So obviously you're in Toronto at the minute, so that's 1.
Yeah.
You're born in Montreal. I'm going to have a guess at Vancouver.
Not yet, but I've wanted to move there for years. So not Vancouver yet.
Yep. My other co-host actually lives in British Columbia. They actually make it out to be such a paradise. I'm like, okay, if you want me to retire over there, I'll retire over there.
Honestly, I'm always looking for excuses to move there. I've wanted to for years. But last year, I think it was, I don't know. I feel like I might have missed the window because with climate change, they have such horrible fires all summer. Yeah. And now in the fall, they're starting to get horrific floods. So I don't know. It might be, I don't know. I don't know. It might be a good place to visit, but maybe not to live anymore.
Yeah. What was the other 3 cities you've lived in?
Oh, gosh. I was born in Montreal. We moved around a lot when I was younger. So I lived in Edmonton as a kid as well, Calgary. Yeah. Then my family moved to a community that's now part of Hamilton. I lived in Ottawa afterwards. I've lived in Halifax, and now I'm in Toronto. So yeah, it's more than 5 now. Yeah. So I guess it's an out-of-date trivia, but still true.
A little bit, yeah. You have a combined honours degree in journalism, which you've already said, and theatre from the University of King's College and, hold on a minute, let me try and get this right, Dalhousie University, respectively.
Yeah.
Nice.
I did them at the same time, actually.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I genuinely do. All right, then. Is one of 12 Canadians to be picked by the Canadian Defence and Foreign Affairs Institute, or CDFI, Canadian Force in the University of Calgary, to train in the Canadian Military Journalism course?
Yes, they trained me and I guess 11 other people to be embedded war reporters. And they flew us out for a couple of weeks that summer to train with the forces and at the university, and to learn how to do it responsibly and properly and have background in it.
You can really do your own class. You know this, don't you?
I think you're starting to prompt some really fun ideas here.
Yeah.
I'm going to owe you 10%. Forget agents. I'm going to owe you 10% if I do a book or a class or something at this point.
It's on film. Let's not forget it's on film. All right, then. It's Christmas season, which obviously everyone associates Hallmark with. So the game I like to play is Why Am I So Popular? You'll have 5 missed calls from 5 people. We'll see. We'll just wait and see who we are. But you're only allowed to call 2 back. That is the only thing.
Ooh.
This is what you call. I like to think of what decision would people make if they were faced with a difficult choice. Well, actually, some of these haven't been difficult. Some of these have been excruciating for some people.
Oh God, we're gonna kill some babies. Let's go.
You might very well do. All right, then. Your 5 missed calls are from Joey King's sister, Hunter King, who actually has her own Christmas movie out this year. I really don't want to say this, but the producers put me up to it. The producer's favourite crush and the one I never hear the end of when we watch Chesapeake Shores, Jesse Metcalf. Yes, I never hear the end of it. We've actually finished watching last season of Chesapeake Shores, which I'm mortified for. And she was like, "Oh, I miss Trace." I'm like, "He's not here."
That's great.
Speaking of Chesapeake Shores, someone I've actually had on here, actually, and he's such a nice chap. Stephen Hazar, his name is.
Yes.
Another Chesapeake Shores guy. Don't worry, they're not all from Chesapeake.
I was like, we've got a favorite show here. There's a front.
I actually do like it. I'm not going to lie. Robert Buckley, who was brought in to replace Jesse Metcalfe, actually. And I've never been able to pronounce this lady's name, but I'm going to try and do it now. Lacey Chabert.
Oh, Lacey Chabert.
Yes, Chabert, yeah.
So I would definitely call, I won't just tell you who I'm calling, I'll tell you in what order. I'm going to up the ante. I'm going to call Stephen first because I'm friends with Stephen and I've worked with Stephen quite a handful of times. So love him to bits. I think he's, honest to God, one of the nicest people ever. And he's such a good person to work with. He's such a good person to work with. What you get in front of the camera is what you get off the camera. Down to earth, nice guy. So he gets a call first as a friend and a lovely person. And then second would be Lacey Chabert, because that'd be pretty cool.
So who's 3 and 4 then, since you brought it up in that?
God.
Just no judgment, because I do like to make these hard. So no judgment.
I gave an inch and you took a mile. After that would be Jesse Metcalfe. Oh my gosh. Yep. I'm not even saying his name right now. After that would be Jesse, and then I would do a coin toss to settle it.
All right, then we'll leave it. We'll leave it at that then. It's quite funny you mentioned you like to do gaming. You like to do games at some point, because I have just the one for you.
Oh,
so yes, so these are all good video game companies, by the way. So it's going to make that a little bit harder. You have 6 missed calls, but you can only call 3 of them back, and the 6 are from Insomniac, who make the Spider-Man series and recently brought out the Callisto Protocol. I'm not quite sure about that. I've heard some ishy things about it. Rocksteady, who have made the awesomely, stupendously fantastic Batman Arkham series and next year's Suicide Squad game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. Activision, who basically just release Call of Duty all year round, and that'll keep them going for decades to come. Rockstar, who make Grand Theft Auto. Ubisoft, who make so many games, it's unbelievable how many games they actually have.
Yeah.
And EA, who make Dead Space, Need for Speed, Star Wars games, and this year they bought out F1. They bought F1 distributor Codemasters. So which 3 are you accepting a phone call from?
Am I accepting a phone call from? I love how you word it. I would say, who's the one that does Suicide Squad?
Rocksteady.
Okay, Rocksteady and Ubisoft. Ubisoft also has offices in Montreal and Toronto, so they would definitely get a call because they've got work here for me. Yep. And then the other ones, I guess, I don't know. I'm going to pretend the call has a little subject line and it says what project they'd want to talk about. So whichever one has the most action, like physical action in it, they'd get the next call.
Probably Call of Duty, because they do have a fair bit of action. I mean, I recently bought Modern Warfare from 3 years ago, the rebooted one. Although I must admit, I do miss Modern Warfare 2 from 14 years ago. I do miss it. And I have actually asked for Modern Warfare 2, the rebooted one, for Christmas this year. So we'll see if Santa thinks I'm worthy enough to have it.
Oh, gosh. Well, when you bring worthy into it, there's some high stakes there.
There is, yep. Oh, and you've already said you play a villain more than anything, even though I don't quite believe it. But then again, you're so lovely, so no wonder you play a villain that much. But unfortunately, we Brits are the kings and queens of playing villains, as you know. Yes. So out of all these names, you have to pick me 5 of who you think is the best villains. And by the way, I won't set the bar very high straight away with Sir Ben Kingsley.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good starting point.
How about the one after that is the late great Alan Rickman.
Okay, he's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston,
A good contender, but we'll hold.
Sir Christopher Lee,
Okay.
Anthony Hopkins,
Great contender. We will hold.
and the Hannibal Lecter before Anthony Hopkins, Brian Cox.
Okay.
Terence Stamp, a la General Zod from Christopher Reeve's Superman 2. The only man I know who can get so irritating simply by saying Neil before Zod. It's just like, he's trying so hard to be so angry, but he's not.
Well, then he just got kicked off the list.
Yeah, definitely. Ian McShane.
Sorry, I missed that one.
Ian McShane.
Okay.
Tom Hardy.
I don't know if I'd put him as a top villain. You know?
Well, I'm going to say Bane, Dark Knight Rises. And The Craze, although I must admit his movie with Craze in is a bit hard to watch. Tim Curry.
Yeah.
There is a lady in this, don't worry. Actually, I think there's a few actually. Natasha McElhone. The original Pinhead himself, Doug Bradley. Have you heard of the urban legend of Doug Bradley?
No, are you going to tell it to me?
I am. When Hellraiser's rap party was on, nobody knew what he looked like, so everyone just ignored him.
Oh my gosh!
I know. When I heard that, I felt so sorry for him, but I put it down to that's just how good his makeup was because nobody knew who he was.
That's so cool, and how much he would have characterized, compared to how he would just speak to someone.
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Ian Holm. What was forgotten? Oh yes, the greatest Magneto of them all, Sir Ian McKellen.
He is exceptional.
Yeah. Christian Bale, a la Patrick Bateman from what was that movie he did? See, my brain's gone. I can't remember what movie he did it in. Oh, what was it called?
I think we're going to add Christian Bale for sure to the list. To the list, yeah.
Andy Serkis, even though he hasn't really played a villain, he's more sort of motion captured it, to be honest. And these four are at the request of Nathan, because apparently my choices weren't good enough. He's like, dude, you cannot have you cannot have British villains without these four. Okay. So these four are Jeremy Irons.
Ooh, yes. Okay. We like him.
Yeah, the man whose Harry Potter name can't be said, so I'll say his real name, Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, he's definitely on the list.
Yeah. Peter Cushing.
Mm-mm.
And what about Emperor Palpatine himself, Ian McDiarmid?
Gosh, I only have one spot left on this roster.
Welcome to my quiz, darling. Welcome to my quiz.
I've only got one space left. I think it's going to go to Anthony Hopkins.
Do you want to know something? Anthony Hopkins is actually quite high on the list of people's choices.
I would believe that, yeah.
So who's the other? So who are you for? Who's the?
So we had Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, yes.
Yes, we had Alan Rickman. We had Anthony Hopkins. We had Ralph Fiennes, Jeremy Irons. I'm forgetting the fifth. Can we do a play the take back? Whoop? Yes, him on the list.
Tom Hiddleston, Christopher Lee, Brian Cox, Terence Stamp, Ian McShane, Tom Hardy, Tim Curry, Natasha McElhone, Doug Bradley, Malcolm McDowell, Ian Holm, Sir Ian McKellen, Christian Bale, Andy Serkis.
Oh, it was Christian Bale. I forgot about it. Yes, it was Christian Bale.
Yeah. And by the way, I know someone who's going to listen to this and literally scream it at whatever they're listening, saying, "Is this movie? Why didn't you say it?" And I know, I'm going to kill myself.
I know.
But I will be like, why did I not know what that was?
That's how you know you've got a good quiz, though. This is a fun game. I like it.
You're not going to like this one.
Oh, God.
Right. Everyone has their own Mount Rushmore of Christmas movies. We have a 5-piece here at Final Cut. The 5 movies are Die Hard, Love Actually, Home Alone, The Snowman. Nathan insisted we have The Grinch up there because you cannot have a Christmas movie without The Grinch. So, my dear Rebecca, Which one? Which one is going in place of Sappy? In your new movie, Sappy Christmas.
Oh, well, Sappy Holiday will be replacing in this Rushmore-esque list the Snowman. And I'm going to add one of my own Mount Rushmore movies to the list.
Okay.
In replacement of, oh God, now see, this is hard as soon as you have to replace, but I'm adding The Holiday to that list too, because I think that's my favorite Christmas movie.
Do you know what? I do actually like that, but it was either choice of that or Love Actually. So I
was like, it can't really replace Love Actually. For me, it does. For me and my Christmas viewing, it would, but for the world at large, The Gift to the World, I don't think it can.
Yep. One of the Christmas ones was actually is your Christmas tree up, but as I can see, your Christmas tree is very well up. Yep, exactly. What's on your Christmas music playlist?
Ooh, to be honest, I usually just put the radio on, or I'll put YouTube on and see which ones surprise me. I I'll watch Christmas specials, like a country music Christmas special sometimes. Nothing in particular that jumps out.
Right. I have 26 songs in my Christmas playlist.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I have Winter Wonderland by Louis Armstrong, of course. Got to go with the classics. Last Christmas by Wham. Fairy Tale of New York. I wish it was the old version, not the one that's been edited, because apparently we live in a time of cancer culture.
Yeah.
Both Band-Aids, Do They Know It's Christmas? Merry Christmas Everyone by Shakin' Stevens. Step Into Christmas, Elton John. My favorite, Merry Christmas Everybody by Slade. Walking Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee. It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, Andy Williams. Dean Martin, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. Of course, Die Hard.
Of course, Die Hard. You know which one got me really good? It was 2021. It's called Christmas Makes Me Cry. And I've never, I've always been so lucky to have really happy Christmases and Christmas is such a happy time of year for me. And despite that, listening to that song, I could really feel the flip side of it and have a bit of a snapshot of what other people feel this time of year, that it's not such a good time of year. And I think it's Kelsey Ballerini who does that one. I really hope I'm not wrong, but that's that one I kind of fell in love with. And unexpectedly, it's like a happy time of year for me, and that's such a sad song. There's a few others. There was, oh gosh, I don't know the names, but there's some really classics out there.
I've got a load of classics in my playlist. I'll just see, where were we? Oh yeah, 2,000 Miles by the Pretenders.
Not on mine.
Sleigh Ride by the Ronettes. Stay Another Day by E17. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Perry Como.
Mm-hmm.
There's Baby It's Cold Outside, both Idina Menzel's one with Michael Bublé and Tom Jones's version with Keris Matthews. Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Of course, Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC. Again, Die Hard. Merry Christmas by Ed Sheeran. One More Sleep by Leona Lewis. Now, All I Have by Jennifer Lopez and Now Cool J. It's not about Christmas, but if you've seen the video, which I'm assuming you have, it is very Christmas orientated.
Ooh, I actually can't place the video right now. Like, thinking about it, I can't place it, but I'm gonna look it up after this.
Yeah. So, very last question, since it's Christmas.
Okay.
What money, no object? If you could cast, say, 8 people in the Christmas movie that you're making, who would you cast? Money's no object. The sky is put it this way, the limit is way beyond the sky. So indulge yourself.
Okay. Let's see. For our female lead, I think Emma Stone would be a very fun Christmas movie lead. And I would like to pair her with the Duke, Regé-Jean Page.
Is that how you pronounce his name? How do you pronounce his name?
I don't know how to pronounce his name. How would you like to pronounce his name?
I sort of fit right. I thought to myself when I saw his name, thought, well, how am I going to pronounce it? Is it Ray Jean Page?
There we go.
We'll do it that way. Either way, we'll do it.
Okay, let's go with the right one. We will edit the right one. So there are leads. His sister is also her best friend. So we get to see her throughout the movie, and that will be Kat Graham from Vampire Diaries / she just had her own romance movie on Netflix. So we've got them. That's like a nice little unit there. For her matriarchal figure, we get Julia Roberts. However, now that I say it, let's just age up the whole movie and make her the lead, because you can never go wrong with Roberts. And Santa gets a cameo in this, so it's going to be Richard Gere on the Julia Roberts train. I don't know. This movie's either running away from me or it's the best thing that's never been made.
Probably the best thing that's never been made when you mentioned Richard Gere and Julia Roberts.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody else that you can think of?
Oh gosh. I think that's a pretty hot cast to start with.
Are you casting yourself as the villain of the piece?
I guess I have to. If we have this big happy nucleus, we've got these amazing actors. Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to. I like your thinking again. There's your 10%.
There you go. I bet you got 20 now because I've just given you a brilliant idea for casting. I was thinking to myself, I was like, right, let's see if because you were the sampler. I was like, right, is she going to struggle with this or not? And you just literally coming straight out with it, no hesitation, no nothing. It's just right. I know what I want. I'm just going to say it. I was like, Jesus, she's done quite well at this. She must make movies for a living.
Yeah, can't turn it off. That's for sure.
Rebecca, it's been an absolute joy. Yes, 2 more days or a week on Up TV is when your new movie is out. May it go well, and may you have an exceedingly white Christmas.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for your time tonight. And I'm so excited about the movie. Thank you for sharing it with your audience and taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you very much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Rebecca Lamarche.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.